was a group supervisor at the game that came in at halftime who was laughing and stated that he felt that Iverson had gotten the message.
So the supervisor approved of your punishing Iverson?
Yes.
Wow. What it do, YouTube? It's your boy Mike from NYC, and we back on the reaction. Today we're reacting to NBA referee punishing Allen Iverson. This doesn't surprise me. You know, I already know refs are people. Refs make biased calls. Refs are human. They do things biasly. They don't play by the book exactly the way they're supposed to. But to actually hear it be confirmed, like somebody actually confirming it, is crazy to me. So without any further ado, let's get into the vid.
Iverson off to a 7-point start. He wasn't crazy about the non-call on this play right here against Hunter. He was looking for a foul. The offensive foul was called by Sean Corbin. He almost threw the ball.
Whoa!
He held his patience.
Held his composure.
Then he thinks he gets fouled on this breakaway. Also goes down hard to get the layup. And so at the end of the quarter, finally, he decided it was time to say something. The ball gets twirled, and whatever came out of his mouth was a little twisted, too, and there's the technical.
Make two passes, the shot goes up, and you still have white jerseys coming across that court.
And now Allen Iverson gets called for another offensive foul, much like the first one that ended up costing him a technical, and this time he's just smiling.
Now, Derek Coleman's still talking to the ref about wanting a foul on the Bobby Sura play. Didn't get all the way back on the defense, allowing a wide open layup. This isn't a foul here. I mean, this is a no call or
a defensive foul.
It's a foul against Bob Sura. About 6 seconds.
I want to hear them actually talk about it, though. Like, I actually want to hear out their mouth. We were trying to punish Iverson. Like, we were trying to, like, I want to hear them say it. Like, I just want to hear them say it. Let's hear the dialogue that goes on right here. Nigga say you brought the crowd down. Why you on my... You're on me.
My job is to referee the game.
I know what you want about the crowd.
Allen, that's because you're not going to do that. Play the game yourself.
You let people get away.
Allen, the conversation is over.
Nigga say you're not gonna bring the crowd down. What's going on? Why do referees want to have so much control? Like, what's up with niggas, bro?
It's not watched on TV. You call. Every call is a foul. I even told those guys before the game that every call is a foul. They don't even have a part of the game.
Hey, Larry, are you through?
No, I'm not through. You've ruined every game.
Excuse me. You got it. You got it. Take the foul.
You say that certain refs like or dislike certain players, certain coaches, certain general managers.
Let's talk about it.
And certain owners.
Let's talk about it.
I knew these guys, knew who they liked, who they despised, and who they would help or screw over. For example, Donaghy cited tempestuous superstar Allen Iverson. Some refs liked him, some did not. Natural enough. But Donaghy said several refs would let their feelings influence their calls by either favoring Iverson or favoring his opponents, and that would affect the score.
And I knew those relationships, whether they were positive or negative, had an effect on the game.
So you knew when Iverson was playing, and you knew which refs were there, you knew whether to bet on the Iverson team or on the other team?
Yes.
Iverson wouldn't talk to us. He didn't want refs to get mad at him. But his manager told us that the way the refs were treating him, some for, some against, made him sick.
I do believe Allen Iverson knew this, and I believe all the players know this, that certain referees treat them much better than others.
Donaghy told us that 2 years ago, Iverson had incurred the wrath of the refs.
he had threatened one of our officials, and the NBA fined him $25,000. And we felt as a group that he should have been suspended. And because he wasn't, we felt like we would teach him a lesson.
During that time, you worked an Iverson game January 6, 2007, so you bet against Iverson's team.
Correct.
For a fact.
Because you knew that all the refs were gunning for him. This was openly discussed.
Openly discussed. And I knew that the other two referees and I sought out to...
Bro, I'm not going to lie, I need referees to get punished, bro. Referees are so respected in the game, bro. If you actually look at the rule book, I did a video on this channel where I actually looked in the rule book, and it says that the referee is supposed to be honored as like some type of sacred. It uses the word like a religious or biblical term like sacred, and that the referee is supposed to be sacred and you're not supposed to speak negatively. That's why when people talk bad about the ref, they get fined. And it's just like, I don't understand why refs aren't held to the fire the same way everybody else is. If James Harden has a bad game, everybody's on James Harden. James Harden is going to get criticized, going to get critiqued. And if he plays bad throughout the season, that's going to affect his money. NBA players are going to affect their money. People can publicly criticize. Coaches get publicly criticized. Owners get publicly criticized. GMs, everybody gets publicly criticized. But it seems that the NBA refs are above criticism for whatever reason. Like, that to me just blows my mind. Like these guys got to get punished, bro. I know I was like Chris Paul, one of the, like, you know, him and Scott, whoever, have one of the most notorious beefs of all time. Chris Paul has a superiorly, that's not even the right word. Chris Paul has a way negative record when he's refereeing the game. That's not no coincidence. Like, it's whack that referees don't get held to the fire, bro.
Do a little justice of our own.
The refs quickly called curious fouls on Iverson, including rarely called fouls for palming.
And Iverson still upset about that palming call.
They threw his game off, and his team lost. According to the game's announcers, even late in the game, you kept hurting Iverson's team by letting defenders bludgeon him without calling any fouls. Watch.
Tim Dunning will not call a foul when Iverson goes to basket. About 3 in a row where he got to the basket, got fouled, we thought, no call.
What are we looking at?
That's not that bad.
We're looking at a foul that was let go. Obviously, in the pregame meetings, we came to the conclusion that we were not going to give Allen Iverson any marginal plays to the basket. And that absolutely should have been called a foul that I and the other referees passed on.
Did anyone in the NBA know about it?
There was a group supervisor at the game that came in at halftime who was laughing and stated that he felt that Iverson had gotten the message.
So the supervisor approved of your punishing Iverson?
Yes.
Wow. So niggas, everybody's in cahoots. Everybody's feeling that this is okay. Like, nobody, and that's the thing that blows me. Like, when you don't allow somebody to be held accountable, like, this is the shit that happens. When you don't allow somebody to get held to the fire, yo, the refs made bad call, fine. Yo, the refs missed this call. They didn't make the right call. The refs messed up, fine. NBA players get critiqued. Even the analysts get critiqued when they say something wrong or out of pocket. Stephen A has been on the hot seat multiple times for saying something out of pocket, and he's had to apologize. But when, like, everybody in the realm, owners, GMs, players, coaches, everybody, assistant coaches are always on the hot seat. It seemed like game in and game out, week in and week out, they always getting critiqued and criticized and put on the hot seat and microscoped and all of these things. But when it comes to the referees, it don't matter. Joey Crawford, he had 20 years in the league. He's known for making bad calls, known for teeing guys up for doing nothing. You know, Scott Rivers, I forget the referee that him and Chris Paul have beef, known for not refereeing the game properly, knowing for having ego trips. Nobody gets held accountable, and at least not in the public eye, right? I was watching the JJ Redick podcast, and Chris Paul said he knows the rules. Chris Paul, he said, if there's a foul in the middle of the court, you get to choose which side you want to take the ball out on. That is in the rules. That is not for the referee to make a game time decision based on something that is in the rules. The only time referees get to make decisions like that when it comes to flagrants, right? What's a flagrant? Or, you know, small nuances of the game. Something that is concrete in the rules. If there's a foul in the middle of the court, the team gets to choose which side they want to take the ball out on. That is in the rules, right? And Chris Paul wanted to take the ball out on, I forget which side. And the ref tried to, or not tried to, the ref made him take it out on the side that he wanted him to take it out on because the ref wanted to have control of the game. The refs don't want to ref the game. They want to control the game. They want to manipulate the game and want to have effect on the game outside of what they need to be having the effect on the game on. They want to call the game differently in the regular season versus the playoffs. They don't want to call the game how it's supposed to be called. You call, like, one of my biggest issues that I seen was that they called fouls for Harden in the regular season on jump shots, but Klay jumping into his airspace all day, all the time, and you're not calling a foul. You're not calling the game. You're calling what you feel like should be a foul. You're calling what you feel like should be called. If somebody gets fouled, they get fouled. They call the game. I don't care if it's 5 seconds, 1 second. You're supposed to call the game. But as a player, you have to understand to an extent that that's life. But if we're going to talk about the refs, let's talk about the refs being wrong and the things that they're doing wrong. Never getting held to the fire. That shit is whack. Nobody's above criticism. Nobody's God. Everybody should be able to get held to the fire. If a referee, if we go back and we say this should be a standard for referees. If a referee, if you go back and look at the footage and the referee makes 60% of the calls right and 40% of the calls wrong, he should be on the hot seat. That ref should be looking to get fired, salary cut, something. He should be looking to get punished by the league in some type of way. There's no way that everybody gets punished or consequences and this position is above criticism like they're guys. They're not guys, they're people.
The NBA would not let that supervisor or any of its refs.
I got allergies, alright? I got allergies, man. Leave me alone.
Talk to us. In that game, Donaghy
ended up getting 44 in that game, had 70 in a 5-quarter period of time. So we know he's capable of striking and striking quickly. Marv, he'll go through stretches where he might not score for 9 minutes and then might score 20 points in a quarter because he's going to be relentless, fearless, and he's going to keep coming at you.
One of the 76er heroes from Game 1, Roger Bell, has checked in for the first time. Allen Iverson continues to question why no foul calls on the physical play on the part of...
Damn.
I'm not going to see everything, all right? They have we're going to time. That's all. Yeah, but why you always... I'm telling you, if I see something that's a foul, I'm going to blow the whistle, all right? I'm just trying to say, stay in your game, I'll stay in the mine, let's go.
I'm in my game, Steve.
I'm trying to be in the mine, too. I want to try to make every call right. I'm not going to be right, unfortunately, 100% of the time.
All right, just understand why I'm smacking in my face.
I will. You got it.
Such a rational explanation from the official, Steve Javie.
What you can see is Derek Fisher is using the one hand and trying to get it in Iverson's face to disrupt his vision. Iverson said, you know what, I've been hit 3 times now. Please watch it.
Iverson.
Damn.
And Teron Lue was all over him.
Iverson's a GOAT. I want to see this other video. Okay.
Yeah. Oh. New shoes. New shoes.
New shoes. Don't count. Don't count.
Given like your whole story, and we can get into the details of it, but what I'm always curious, what's the biggest misconception you think that's out there about the fixing games and your entire career as an NBA ref?
Fixing games. I mean, people, some people think that I went out there and put Shaquille O'Neal to the bench or LeBron James to the bench so that some of these bets won. That's really not what happened. I picked the games based on relationships that existed between referees and players, referees and coaches, and referees and owners, and what took place in the morning meetings with the referees and what was going to be called that night and how a team was going to be put at an advantage or disadvantage.
So you're saying when you would call in a bet and be like, hey, take this side, you wouldn't then make sure that you called more fouls against the team that you bet against? Like,
No, I knew what the crew was going to go out and do that night and how a team was going to be put at an advantage. Maybe there was an emphasis that day on Kobe Bryant going to the basket, and there was a DVD sent in last week of plays that were missed by the referees. So I knew when the league came in and said, hey, listen, there's a problem here. Phil Jackson just sent in this DVD, 25 plays, Kobe getting fouled and nobody blowing the whistle. I knew that the three of us were going to go out that night, and he was going to go to the line 25 times, and they were going to win by 15.
So how often would you get special instructions like that?
During the playoffs, every game. During the regular season, there were points of emphasis that came out probably once or twice a week. But during the playoffs, you sat in a room, and they showed you tape of the previous games, and they said this was missed. The referees got poor grades because they missed this, this, and this, and it was always for the team that was down in the series, and we knew basically what they wanted, and we went out and concentrated on those things, and the bets just flowed through.
So for that example, you would see that, okay, Kobe's going to get a lot of calls today. You'd call your buddy and say he's going to be on the foul line. Let's take the Lakers on this one. Then you would all go in together on the Lakers, or how would that work?
Definitely, I would just tell him. I didn't actually tell him why or what was going on. I would just say in a code, which is portrayed great in the movie, certain things of talking about Johnny or Chuck, which were Tommy Martino's brothers, in regard to if we're going to take the home or the away team. And we didn't really discuss how or why I was picking a game.
Okay, so you pick a game, you tell them, when you're running up and down the court and you're reffing an NBA game, things are moving a million miles an hour. Are you the whole time thinking about this spread?
No, because we won right out of the gate so many times. In fact, there were some points where Tommy and I really didn't care if we lost because we thought we were, so many red flags would be going up because, we won so much.
Right.
Was there ever a game when afterwards you were in the locker room and you're like, shit, that was really obvious. I did some stuff that's going to jump out on the tape?
No, because again, I wasn't doing anything that the league didn't want done.
But you never, like in a close game when the line was getting down to it at the end, you never blew your whistle one time when it was maybe like, borderline. That would put, for me, if I were in your position, I would absolutely, even subconsciously, call more fouls, get it closer to covering the spread for myself.
And you know what? That's a great word that you just used, subconsciously, because that's what the FBI, I wrote a book, and in the book, Personal Foul, I talked about all this, and that was one thing that he wanted in the book that subconsciously I could have affected some of these games that way, because he was writing the forward for the book and said I told the truth at every turn. So that word that you just used was the word that Phil Scala, one of the FBI agents, said could have happened subconsciously, which is possible, but I can only tell you that I didn't go out there and send Kobe or Shaq or some of these big stars to the bench. I just did within the rules what the NBA wanted to do, and I knew who was going to be put at an advantage or a disadvantage. But I will say this, there was one game where Allen Iverson threatened Steve Javie, and we felt as a staff he should have been suspended, but he was only fined $25,000. I had the next game, and the two referees and myself in the morning meeting decided that Allen Iverson, although he carries the ball all the time and it's never called, we were going to enforce that rule against him that night, and we went out in the first half, and we all each took a turn. We had a pact. We're all going to call a palming violation on him, and we did that. And I did tell Tommy to bet against Denver that night, and Iverson came up to me during a free throw, and he said, Tim, how long is this going to go on for? I said, what are you talking about? He goes, you know what I'm talking about. I just smirked, and he...
Don't do that. Don't act. Like, let's cut the bullshit. Fuck all the bullshit. Like, I'm a grown man, you a grown man. Like, let's be honest. Let's keep it a stack. Like, let's not do that. Like, let's just be real. Like, fuck the bullshit. Like, come on. Bro, at this point, Allen Iverson has been in the league damn near 15 years. Closer to 15 than 10. He came in 96. Denver was probably 08-ish, 09-ish. So, 12, 13 years. You gonna call palming on me? Come on, Steve. Come on. Like, I'm not even mad at this point. Like, you gotta let me know what's up. Like, just let me know. Just let me know, like, is this for until I retire? This for like 15 games, 20 games? Like, you gotta talk to me. Like, you gotta let me know what's good. Like, you can't, like, you gotta let me know. Like, you a grown man, I'm a grown man. I can take it, bro. Y'all got shit against me, bro. I'm Allen Iverson. Like, I already know what that's like. Like, that shit ain't nothing new to me, bro. I promise it ain't. Niggas made me take off my do-rag, my jewelry. Niggas tried to strip my whole swag. Niggas on my body, cause I'm just him. I don't know, like, you feel me? I'm 6 foot, like, I ain't even supposed to be here probably in y'all eyes, and I'm here. So it's like the hate gonna come, but it's just like, just level with me.
And he knew it was, you know, he was going to have a problem for the next couple of games for what he did.
So knowing all this, like, how much, and I know the NBA was always said you're a lone wolf kind of situation, it's an isolated situation, but it sounds like the way you're describing it is every night the refs are talking about how they're going to officiate the game, and every night it could be different, and every night there could be some personal vendettas. Do you think that that's true?
100%. And in fact, I don't know if you guys know the name Michael Francisi. He was a famous captain in the Colombo crime family who's now out of jail and become a preacher, has left organized crime. He's on the record as saying that 3 NBA referees in the 1990s were on his personal payroll, and none of them were named Tim Donaghy. So I wasn't the only one passing along information. You know, was he paying them for them? You know, I don't know what their setup was, but I'm sure he wasn't giving them chocolate bars, you know?
Right. So the other thing, you
no chocolate bars, buddy.
Times since the scandal, since you went to prison, that like you'll be like, hey, this series is going to go 7, or this series they're going to try to extend it. Is that something that you would talk about with the refs before a playoff game? Like, hey, the league needs us to go, 6 here. We need to get this game to 6, or we need to get this game to 7. Is that something that actually, because I think what happened more than anything with this scandal is that everyone got very paranoid about every game, and the NBA had a rigged feel to it. Do you think it is rigged?
Definitely manipulated. When you talk about Dick Bavetta in 2002, I don't know if you remember the famous Lakers-Sacramento Game 6, right?
Yep.
He openly said to a lot of us that he was the NBA's go-to guy. He was put on Game 6s to make sure they went to a Game 7, and that was one of the most fucked up, games in the history of the NBA.
Yes. Yep.
And when you talk about 3 referees supposedly making so many mistakes in a conference final game, where in America can you perform at that level in your job so poorly?
Bro, this is what I'm talking about. This is the shit that I'm talking about. Where the fuck can you go to get paid this much bread, to be put on a stage of this level of importance and magnitude, and not get fucking held to the fire? Fuck the NBA. Niggas talking about you can't talk bad about a referee. Nigga, fuck you. Whoever made that rule, nigga, go somewhere. Go sit down somewhere. That shit corny. Niggas can just do shit and nobody gets held to the fire. Nobody gets fired. Nobody gets a pay cut. Nobody gets fined. Nobody gets rebuked and reprimanded. Nobody gets hands laid on. Somebody need to get their ass beat. Real shit. Like, if I'm Chris Webber, I'm looking to beat somebody's ass. Fuck that. I'm looking to lay hands on somebody. Are you dumb? You just messed up my whole legacy. Like, you know how I literally worked my whole life to get a ring? And because you want to check? Because you want to get some little fucking money on the side? Some little fucking vacation money? You gonna fuck up my whole life? Allen Iverson. Listen, you can say Allen Iverson didn't have a chance to beat the Lakers if you want. Listen, he won game 1. You never know. I say the same thing about LeBron when they played the Warriors. If JR would have passed him the rock in that situation and had won game 1, I don't put it past him to potentially win the series in 7. You know what I'm saying? But regardless, nigga, if I'm Chris Webber, like, I need more action to take place. It's not enough for niggas to go to jail. Like, you gotta go to prison, like 10, 15, bro. Cause that's how long I've been trying to get a chip. So you took 10, 15 years from me in my prime and a prime opportunity to win it, to potentially go to a championship or to at least force a game 7, and you just took that out of my hands for a little pocket money? And I'm just not supposed to lay hands. Whatever, man.
Still go to the next level and ref in the NBA Finals and get another bonus of $20,000. If they were so bad and the league was so upset, you think that they would have not moved to the next round, but they advanced to the next round and got paid for it.
So he told you personally, or he said openly out to the public, and maybe I'm unaware of it, that he is the NBA's guy when it comes to extended series. He's admitted that?
I don't know if he's admitted it, but he said it to a lot of us, and we all talked about it and laughed. In fact, when he was refereeing that game, we knew it was going to Game 7. Mm-hmm. We joked. We would call each other on the phone and say, Bavetta's, watch him. Look what he's doing.
Wow, man. So it makes sense. it makes sense why the NBA doesn't let you hold referees to the fire, because the referees are fulfilling the NBA's agenda. Yo, if we get a game 7, you know how much more extra money we make? We get 2 extra game 7s per playoff. Just think about it mathematically, right? If I'm the NBA, right? Let's just use common numbers, right? Because money rules the world, especially with people who don't have integrity and honor and respect and any type of intrinsic values and morals. Everything's about money and self and personal gain. So let's just do math, right? Let's just say I make $1 million profit per playoff game, right? I don't know what the numbers are, but let's just say $1 million profit, right? If I get 5 extra games that aren't supposed to be, like if there's 5, like instead of 5. Well, why does shit keep beeping? What the fuck? Anyway, if I get 5 extra playoff games per NBA playoff, so let's say, right, there's 50 games in the playoffs total, but we push to 55. That's $5 million extra dollars. That's more exposure. That's more money. That's beneficial to the NBA. So, you know, when you think about it like that, it makes sense, because the referees may be making the wrong call, and the NBA they probably don't want the refs to get a lot of heat, because they want them to continue to fulfill their agenda seamlessly. Yo, we gonna protect anybody anybody say anything even halfway sideways about y'all, they getting fined. Best believe they getting fined. Y'all just keep doing the good. Y'all just keep fighting the good fight and doing the good work that you're doing, and everybody gonna eat. You gonna eat. I'm gonna eat. We all gonna eat off that. So it makes sense, man. Definitely like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you like these type of videos, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace.